Добрый день, коллеги. Меня зовут Долгий Роман. Я отвечаю за развитие ряда...
Hi, dear colleagues. My name is Dolgi Roman. I'm in charge of developing various services with Rostelecom Solar. I don't know what specifically I'm going to do about this presentation today because I saw it, my colleagues saw it, it's available on the internet publicly, and you must have already seen that. But since we're all here in this room, in the next 15 minutes, I'm going to share some facts as to what you can possibly find in a network if you know how to properly search for that. It's for everyone to see that phishing is a big thing nowadays. It dropped by April last year, it grew back after an 85% fall. And this year, it showed a quarter-to-quarter growth of 20%. We identify hundreds of resources targeted at clients and employees of our clients. We identify dozens of fake user accounts on social media and messages. They are geared to stealing some data of our clients or creating some negative impact on goodwill of clients. Over the first quarter of 2023 alone, over 300 plus million database lines were published on Russian companies and their customers. The access as a service or the hacker as a service market keeps developing. More and more players embark on it, and for a certain fee, they are quite able to provide access to our infrastructure. And the fact that regular solution providers are leaving the market is another opportunity for intruders and a source of great pains for information security people. You can find a way too smart TV somewhere on the web with a not too smart connected USB pen drive with corporate data. Project management systems which have regulations, marketing documents, layouts, information about new products to be released, these can be used by both intruders and the competition at the same time to file a patent application earlier, market a product, and secure a niche in the market. You can find hundreds of resources aimed at stealing money or data from customers of specific organizations. Intruders would be much more interested to get access to online banking rather than performing a single-time payment. So there have been over 226,000 of cases of which amounted to over 9 billion of rubles in stolen funds. You can find some evidence that this issue is not connected to the company proper, but which upsets customers, it upsets the mass media. You have to explain how specifically it worked. It wasn't a fault of the bank's resources proper. And will take some time for the experts to build up some analytics data, collect information, etc. You would rather spend the time on something else. At times, something happens two times. Once it comes for free, and the second time it's paid for. This may be an external resource available from the outside. It was downloaded and made available for purchase. Why would you pay for that? Because you can still locate it where it is. But still, the intrusion market is a thing. So at times you don't have to look for anything at all. They will reach us and offer a database, a specific service, access to an internal system. So,
понимать текущую
in order to understand the present-day picture, we brought some statistics.
что за последний год ландшафт киберугрозы
And we can tell that over the last year, the landscape of cyber threats changed for organizations.
доступе инструментария,
There are plenty of tools publicly available, virtually in open access, which can be used for attacks. We see that number of intruders start using these tools even if they don't have the qualifications. They can successfully perform attacks and contribute to more and more cases covered by this statistic data. In order to collect information, specialists have to analyze a variety of both open source and restricted access data sources. Social media SSL certificates, domain register, they can be passed quite easily, while getting your foot in the door with darknet forums, identifying resources using acquiring technologies for illegal purposes is much more difficult. If you have your international information security service, NPR service, they may have some time to get into one of the groups. Will your information security people be able to do that? It's a question to you. Let's simplify your tasks. Please scan this QR code. It will take you to a portal that will provide integrated statistics data on your domain. How many times you ended up in some leaks? How many phishing resources were registered during this year and over last year? And this gives you an idea as to how much time will you require to investigate these events. And you should investigate these events because a significant number of these data is either a compilation of old databases or straightforward fake information. This is a way to impact your goodwill negatively.
опубликовавшего данные материалы, репутацию в преступном сообществе.
Or this is just to improve a criminal's, an intruder's reputation with the criminal community. The market offers a variety of tools for information collection, information processing. And how do you deal with that? There are a variety of classes of such systems. They overlap quite a lot. I took some definitions for each system, and I have something in between. If you take a closer look at that, these are virtually the same sources, more or less the same kind of actions, the same analytics. Of course, each class of systems is geared towards a specific purpose. All vendors would rely on the strongest competences, but you see more and more descriptions each year. So it's very difficult to see which specific solution we actually need. Apart from the customer, the client, no one knows what is critical, what is actually important for them. No one can tell whether defacing your main website is part of brand protection. If your main business is associated with your internet presence, no one apart from the client can tell whether they have any resources available and whether they should be part of this attack horizon, this attack surface. So in our work, we're trying to direct our clients' attention to quality risk assessments so that they can come with a specific demand, having a good understanding of what matters to them, what is important to them, what they care about, which monitoring vectors are key for them. And for our fellow experts, we would suggest that you listen to the pains and needs of your client. Those who will be able to provide a full-fledged and the most adequate system in terms of threat identification and analytics. So the feedback as to the models you should have what needs to be shown, what kind of assistance needs to be provided for building internal processes. This is for integrators, this is for vendors. This is something they need to receive as feedback and analyze it. This is again the same QR code. If you didn't have the time to scan it, this QR code will provide you some statistics as to your security systems and number of security incidents and potential threats, especially phishing attacks. That's it on my part. It will be my pleasure to take your questions, if any. No questions?
Виктор Виноградов, компания DataSpace.
Victor Vinogradov, DataSpace. My question is this.
Есть список источников, откуда вы получаете?
Do you have a list of sources where you draw information from so that we can get acquainted with that and see which sources you monitor? Or is it properly restricted access information and you can possibly share that? Answer. It's difficult to make an exhaustive list because it's being updated at least twice per day. We have a list of groups of sources. If a malicious group migrates to another forum, they create a new Telegram channel. That would be difficult to provide you with a specific link because we move along with the intruders. If it's a list of SSL certificates or domain names, it's a bit easier. We monitor the darknet resources. This is for corporate identity protection. And this depends on the situation. It's about social media. Torrent trackers, registers of domain certificates, and these must be the main ones. Unfortunately, I don't know the whole exhaustive list because it comprises hundreds of thousands of sources. If you download it just today, by the end of the day, it will be obsolete already. If you really need that, if this is your request, we can show you the way it's organized. But having a specific list, we don't have it at the moment. At least I don't know how do you actually download hundreds of thousands of lines into a single document, and how do you read it then?
Таланов Максим, инфосистема JET. Хотел уточнить.
Maxim Talanov, JET Infosystem. We have a dedicated team for source monitoring. What kind of qualifications do you need to perform such kind of monitoring? What qualities do you need on the expert side? Thank you for the question. Answer. We were able to automate virtually 90% of monitoring. Something you can pass and collect automatically. It is being automated. While analysts, they check data for relevance. If we identified a leak, if we found our client's domain there, we can see whether it's new data or something which was published 3 years ago, compiled and republished, and whether this at all references to our client or not. You need to possess some social engineering skills to monitor the darknet and Telegram groups and channels, to request some information from potential intruders, and get them to establish a dialogue with you as they offer corporate data for sale. So these people have been working on that for years. They know where to look for specific types of information and how to deal with that. And speaking about qualification specifically, it's offensive, open source intelligence, OSINT, and social engineering skills as well. And of course, working with data, because if it's a leak of hundreds of thousands of lines, it will be up to an analyst to identify that. This might be a sensitive document. These are the main skills you should possess, in my opinion.
Коллеги, еще вопросы? Или
Any more questions?
общаться?
Or can we say goodbye?
Все, спасибо вам большое за
That's it. Thank you very much.